Tammy.
Hey.
Tammy's off camera.
Peekaboo.
There she is. So, it's our anniversary today. How many years, Tammy?
How many years, James?
Well, it's about 16 years of marriage and about...
8 years of going together.
Yeah, it's about 24 years altogether.
4
It's quite a
years.
while.
Put up
So,
with him. Goodness.
I'll show you a picture of Tammy from yesterday. You can see how pretty my wife is.
No,
yeah.
my eyes aren't even open in that
Okay,
picture. I
I'm
don't
gonna
think you had your glasses on.
I'm
when
going to
you
send it
picked out
anyway.
that picture.
So,
No.
Tammy, what are you now, 64?
Yes.
All right, so I want to show you a picture of a 64-year-old woman, just so you can see how proud I am of my wife. Anyway, here we go. Hades, my female Amstaff. What's an Amstaff? Never heard of an Amstaff, have you? Anyway, her female Amstaff has tan points and brindle on top of them, without it being anything to do with the intensity gene. No, I don't think so. But certainly, if in my experience, certainly with Frenchies anyway, if you show full tan points, brindle is not present. So I don't know if you've checked for brindle. It may or may not be there. Oh, here you go. Kathleen Rainier says, explosive pooping must be like a child with projectile vomiting. No one escapes. That's exactly right. We all enjoy the misery together. Yeah. Julio Major says, the website says $1,000 studs, but I don't see any. Can you help me with our first dinner? Well, yeah, I probably need to revise these. We don't have any $1,000 studs anymore. That was from some time ago. So that was when Dior was around, and he's still around, but he's not functioning anymore. So I don't have any $1,000 studs. Basically, starting price at $2,000, but you pay just a portion of that to get started, and a lot of it goes on the back end. But you can call me if you want some help with selling your dog, of course. Okay, Frenchieverse says, my stud is a Phantom Merle. Okay, it's Cryptic Merle, good. And she is 80 tan points. One copy of CO, so one copy of Coco. Little D, so she's a blue dog. EM, full black mask. Biggie, no cream. Okay. I have a brindle and tick bully. She has had 2 litters now, and I haven't had one brindle pup. I mean, you've been lucky, because you'd expect 50% of her offspring to be brindle.
I bet she had it and she didn't know it.
Well, that's,
she didn't have the DNA done.
Yeah, that's so. What Tammy says is right. You know, it's lots of times you'll see a dog that is brindle, and it's just got a little bitty patch of brindle, maybe on its back end or its rump somewhere.
We had 2 females that had just a ½ inch, if that, a brindle mark on their top back shoulders.
Sterling.
And Sterling was the same way.
And Kahuna didn't. You couldn't hardly see it on Kahuna.
Did he carry brindle?
How often should you test your female as going through a split heat? TX Glorious Frenchies. Well, what I do in this situation is, it really depends on the numbers. I wouldn't let it go more than about 4 or 5 days between tests, and especially if the blood color is starting to go pink, that's time to test. Tammy Hicks. I have a pup that was just born, and her front feet aren't right. But I don't know if this is the exact same thing. We're talking about swimmers, simple fix for swimmers. The answer is you absolutely can fix this. And what you need to do is you need to take some tape and tape up the front feet so that it starts to pull them together in the right position. And if you do that now, you'll be surprised how well this works. If you don't do something, then the dog's likely to end up with feet that don't look right at all. But if you start working on this now, especially if a puppy's just a few days old, and you do this consistently, and it may take you a week, it might take you 2 weeks, but you'll find that the legs come back in, and when the dog starts walking around, it'll all be fine. So absolutely get on top of it. And there's nothing else you can do that I'm aware of. Not like you're gonna have surgery on a dog, nor do you need to have surgery on a dog. You couldn't do surgery on a little puppy anyway. But this is basically just, you're basically just putting tape wrapped around this way, so it pulls this one around, then it comes around this leg here the opposite way, so it pulls, sorry, this way, so it pulls both of them together, and there are the feet slightly apart like that. I've got a video on this, you can go look at it. How to fix dog hematoma. Oral splint. If your dog experiences this and he or she is not in good health or older, surgery is not an option. Correction of the ear hematoma is using an oral splint. No anesthesia, no surgery, also very cost friendly. I don't know what an oral splint is, I'll go check it out. What we do in these situations is we do put our own splint in there, which is basically a tube that we drain the hematoma. We put a tube, which is nothing more than the barrel of a dry erase marker, put it in the ear and then wrap that around so the ear is wrapped around the tube so that it's compressed around the tube. Probably the same thing, but it works great.
Don't let that fall. Oh, you got my phone.
Outlaw Josie Wells. I got by the theory of the wild in wild foxes, coyotes and wolves. They breed every heat and that is natural. I'll be following nature. Yeah, no, I mean,
Exactly.
so, yeah. Well, what we do is this. We do step in if the last breeding had problems. Mum didn't bounce back. She wasn't good with her puppies. We didn't like the experience.
Right.
Then we're going to give a break. But if everything goes fine, we're exactly on the same page you're at. It's all nature, and we go with nature. We like nature. Nature has a great way of fixing most things.
Some vets will tell you keep on breeding them every heat.
Well,
Some
right.
breeders will tell you skip a heat. Some breeders will tell you every other,
Yep. It's all over the place, isn't it?
yeah, it's all over the place.
But I think
But
Josie's.
it depends. One vet said if your female bounces back, like she was a puppy all over again, then, and didn't have any trouble, then she's good to go.
Yep. Bonnie 2009, thank you so much for your content. I have a question about DNA screening for genetic diseases. I read an article on AKC where geneticists said they should be taken with a pinch of salt, and their DNA testing is in its infancy. What's your thoughts? On the other hand, it might be a good selling point. It hasn't yet become popular in Ireland, but are they accurate? Would you get false positive results? Also heard companies offering DNA testing specific to your breed, but maybe it's not worth the money. Well, so the first thing is, it's when they say it's in its infancy, I don't know how long animal genetics has been doing this, but it's a long time. I mean, we going in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're not eating in there.
Okay.
I'm just picking it up.
Oh, okay.
If you want to continue.
Oh, okay, I see what's going on.
Continue talking, James.
Okay.
That's what you do best.
I didn't see the donut shop there. I saw the other store there. I'm not going to say what the other store is.
He's anxious to get out.
Look, animal genetics has been doing this for a long time. I mean, how long has animal genetics been doing this for? It's certainly, when you say it's in its infancy, I mean, DNA testing has been around for a long time. And I can tell you this, that the results are meaningful and they're useful and they're correct. They do make mistakes. So you do catch them out every now and then where so part of the secret to this is having some kind of an idea about what your dog is in terms of the way that it looks and the parents that produced it, so that you can double check to make sure that you think the results make sense. So I have gone back to animal genetics occasionally and said, hey, there's something not right here, please do a retest. And they do, and typically that then shows where the flaw is. But overall, I give animal genetics an A+. And I don't use UC Davis or VetGen. They tend to take longer, but they're fine too. Paws and Prints, Embark, they're all pretty comparable in terms of their prices. To do a complete coat color on a dog, typically around 130 bucks. You've got other testing you can do, and you can run the bill up higher than that. So it's not inexpensive, but if you're selling dogs based on what their color is, and you're making claims about what the DNA or the color of a dog is, I would highly recommend that you invest the money to go get some testing done. Marlon James de la Cruz. Hi, my female dog tested on her 10th day of 1.5, then tested her 4 days with the same results until her 32nd day. Nothing changes and the vulva's back to normal. Can I breed her the next heat cycle? Can she conceive? Well, yeah, I mean, you haven't told us how old the dog is. Certainly, that's unusual. If this is a very young dog, this may be a heat that never really got going, which is what I suspect is going on here. There's no reason to get too worried about this. I mean, just wait for the next heat cycle. It'll probably be completely normal. If this is an older dog, 4, 5, 6-year-old dog, this may be the end of her heat cycle. It may be that she's not going to come back and heat properly anymore. So the two extremes, you could see this. A dog that's a couple of years old that's had a successful heat, you would not expect to see this. And so then you have to think about other things, like for instance, has she got a cyst or a tumor on her ovaries? These are the kind of things that could cause these kind of problems. So there are other things that could be a problem. So depending on the age, the circumstances, the last heat, you may want to do some investigation. Raquel Gray. I have a male lilac and a tan male. We're getting a female as a blue brindle that could possibly carry one copy of Coco. Her father was a lilac merle. Well, she has to carry a copy of Coco. If her father was a lilac merle, she had to get a copy of Coco and a copy of Blue from her dad. Her mother was a blue brindle. Okay, so there you go. So she is a blue brindle. So she is a blue brindle that carries Coco. What are the chances of producing a lilac? No, possibly fawn, blue, and blue brindles. Yes, you're right. Yes, so the answer is, can she make lilacs? Yes, if you put her with that male that you talked about, who's got 2 copies of Coco, she's got 1 copy of Coco, you'd expect to get a litter of blues and blue brindles that carry Coco, and lilacs and lilac brindles. 50-50, those 2 splits. How can I get a Frenchie from you guys? Well, you can call us up.
580-799-1910.
It's like God talking to you. Oh, there's Tammy.
Came in on time on that one.
Yeah,
I've got babies right now.
She does.
I've got a little blue and tan that carries testable. We've decided that we're not going to keep her. We were going to. She was our first pick and only pick.
She's pretty.
And she is built like a little brick house.
Yep.
Blue and tan, carries testable, carries Coco. New shade maker. So give me a call if you like her, and then we can FaceTime. And then I have a new litter that is out of Buble. Love my Buble in Paris, and they're all fluffy carriers.
And what are those?
4 girls, 1 boy.
Yes.
And I know the boy is a chocolate fawn, carries blue, carries cream, and he's probably ATAY. And so, but I've got him, he's the only boy, and then I've got 3 cream ones, which possibility there's platinum there, or a chocolate covered in cream. And then I have a lilac and tan there also, and they're all fluffy carriers. For my phone number to call and FaceTime, 580-799-1910.
So we're going to do a video of those puppies tomorrow, and we'll post that probably Thursday.
Yep.
And by then, I think we'll have the DNA results back from Animal Genetics.
Yes.
So there we go. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.